Yo, apparently we're doing an AESA Insight. Who would have known? I'm super excited to be here for this event. I am joined today by someone who is beloved across Edmonton and Alberta. Aaron, aka TinofSalsa. How's it going today, buddy?
Oh, pretty all right. How about you?
Oh, I'm flying-tastic as usual. And by the way, if you don't know who I am, I'm Thai Sirikoone. I'll be your host today. Essentially, if you haven't seen an AESA Insight before, we like to talk to some fun people in the community and get to know them just a little better. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, pretty fun. Aaron, you do a lot in Alberta for esports. Whether you would like to admit it or not, I think that you're a big pillar of a lot of stuff that goes on here. I know that you run the Alberta first-person shooter community. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah. So I started the AB FPS community back up. I think back in, say, April or May, I started it up. And we're up to 300 members now in the Discord server, so that's I'm pretty happy about that, actually.
Wow, that's a sizable amount. You started that this year?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, because I joined this year, which would make sense if you started it this year. And I thought it was like a more established thing because it is pretty big. It's grown pretty substantially. If that's a short time frame.
Yeah, no, because. The reason I started it up was because no one really had anything central for FPS games. So it's like if you wanted to find your community for Valorant or Halo or Fortnite or whatever it is that you played, you kind of just had to find your group of friends that played it, right? Or maybe a school club if you're lucky. So I wanted to start up the server. And I know a Discord server on its own is not a great way for discoverability, but at least it's a starting point for getting a centralized community where, like, people of different games can hang out together and chat with one another.
Yeah, totally. And you mentioned, like, being lucky enough to have a group to even play with. Like, I got a good tight group of friends, but they're not playing, the same stuff I'm playing on a daily basis or whatever, right? Like, maybe they're doing like Counter-Strike, and I'm not doing a Counter-Strike kind of night. I want to do some Overwatch. Yeah. So even if you did have a group of friends, it's nice to have a wider selection or a wider kind of community to kind of tap into and be a part of that way.
Yeah, because it's like it's easy for our other local scenes like Smash and the FGC, where it's like, it's a 1v1 game, or maybe if you're doing doubles for Smash, right? That's only 4 people that you need to get together, right? Mm-hmm. At most. And like FPS games can be a lot harder to like get into a coordinated, I guess, environment to have a bit more fun that way, because it's fun to play FPS games and just play public lobbies, but you don't know anyone there, and they're not real people to you is how it feels sometimes. Like I'm sure you can probably relate to that too, right? Like you play Apex and you're just shredding through the lobby and you're like, I don't know any of these guys, right? Like they're just names on a screen to you.
Yeah, especially if you get a group that doesn't like to talk, Like it's one thing if you get a guy who is talking, maybe you can have a bit of fun, but most of the time you're getting people just either typing or they're not communicating. And I feel like a lot of popular FPS games right now, you need communication. It's a little more than just running and gunning. Like you got games that are huge like Valorant or the Rainbow Six Siege, that takes a lot of coordination. And so having a good group of people who are invested, that's worth your time to go and find. And it's cool that you've provided a place for locals to do that too.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun.
Special shout out. You want to give a little shout out or what?
Where my girlfriend was just coming by to say hi. No, sorry, where were we?
You are really cool. That's where we're at.
Oh, okay.
How has it been kind of organizing or running that Discord community? Is there any special challenges that you've had to overcome since you've started it?
So there's nothing that I wasn't really too surprised by when I started it up. Having the ownership and responsibility of it is one thing, and then you always get the surprises of being a Discord mod of just random jerks that come into the server and just try to cause trouble. It's stuff that I've dealt with before moderating other servers. Like I've moderated the Alberta Smash server before and a couple other community servers. So it's when those people join the server, you kind of know what's going on right away. So nothing that I've been too surprised about. In terms of negatives, I was pleasantly surprised that people actually really wanted the community to be a thing. Especially when we started doing Valorant events really early on. There was a lot of positive feedback for those.
And I had the privilege of playing in one of the Overwatch or sorry, Valorant matches you put together, and I had a blast.
Yeah, you came and stopped by on one of our pickup game nights.
Yeah, so highly recommend you guys join the Discord for sure, because it was just fun to talk to a bunch of people who like something that I like. You know what I mean? That's why we're all trying to get into these communities, and that's why we like to play in these things. So yeah, is there any kind of special moments that you can think of that have come out of you organizing something through or with Alberta FPS?
I think probably as a community organizer and tournament organizer, I guess one highlight would be one of our early online Salt events. I was running Valorant, and right at the start of the event, buddy Steve from the gaming stadium was like, "Hey, we got you $500 for the prize pool," and I was like, "Wait, really? Word?"
Yo, shout out to Steve. Shout out to Steve.
I brought this up. I got this approved, and here you go. I was like, dude, that's hype.
Did he just come to you with that out of nowhere? Like,
I think I messaged him beforehand because I just wanted him like to tweet it out or something, and then like he went above and beyond. It was freaking sick.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it takes more than just one person to build a community, obviously.
No, it totally does, right? Because, I mean, unfortunately, you do see it all the time where people will just. There's nothing wrong with starting up your own community thing, but you see it a lot where everyone tries to do the same thing, but kind of more, I guess, separated. So it's very focused on a single game or even a single aspect of a game, and you divide the community quite a bit that way. And I think unless you have a very large audience, I don't think that's necessary, and I think it's actually quite redundant.
Yeah, I mean, like we were kind of saying earlier too, there is a lot of crossover, especially I think in FPS games, just because the skills translate really well. So I think it's nice to have that centralized thing, because a lot of good FPS games are free too. So even if you got, some guys who are into Rainbow Six, you can say, hey, I had fun playing this game with you. You should get Valorant. It's free. Or you should get Apex. It's free, right?
You should play like Splitgate or whatever's out at the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like there's so many options out there now, and you can pick it up because it's shooting guys with a gun.
They're free to play. You can just pick it up and play. They're FPS games. They are like, once you know an FPS game, you can transition through quite a few of them.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you've done a lot of moderating in the past too. You've just recently become a mod for AESA. Is that right?
Yeah. So on top of tournament organizing, I joined the moderation team. Primarily, I just moderate the community server for AESA, because as a TO, I just get caught up in everything else. So the moderation team will be like, hey, Aaron, when are you available? And I'm like, well, you want to know what brackets I'm running? And they're like, I'll take it as none. No availability, got it. I was like, yeah, pretty much.
Well, you do know the value of moderating stuff, and I haven't ever been in that position, and I'm guessing nor have a lot of people who are watching this. What is the value of a good or a good moderation? And you know, people usually hate on mods, but you know, they're kind of like this unseen thing, I feel, right?
Well, I mean, like, moderation, like, there's always the meme about Discord mods being like super strict, but I think moderation is important. You don't have to go too crazy with it, in my opinion, but I think it's important just to keep a, I guess, friendly environment throughout your community. Nothing like too hostile, and like basically just keep everything safe within one another, like within each other, right? And like there can be banter between friends or whatever, but if someone's new and you're giving them a hard time, it's like, well, these guys aren't going to want to hang out for a while after, right?
Yeah.
Or it's like if you guys are posting obscene things, then it's like, who's like, what if someone just joins the server, like they don't even know meme culture or anything like that, they see this, they're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
and you want it to be accessible, right? There's enough toxicity in video games, like that's not big news to anyone. So if you wanted to have a big toxic group, you could probably find them way easier than anything else. But
well, it was like, not to highlight negatives, but one of our pickup nights for Valorant, there was one guy that was out of the community that was playing with us, and the game was a stomp. Like it was pretty rough for one of the teams, but the guy that like hardly any of us knew, he like post game he talked a lot of trash afterwards, swore off everyone, and then it just like left. And I was like, who is this guy? I'm like, I'm not gonna let this guy back in here. Like,
yeah,
so...
it's kind of that thing where it's nice to have a group of people where you can say like, hey, that person we're not kind of meshing with, and everyone knows it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, and stuff like that happens, and it's like, well, cool, I'll just tell a bunch of other tournament organizers your name, and good luck entering anything, right?
Yeah.
Like,
but to contrast that, I personally haven't had a bad experience, or like a major bad experience.
Very rare.
Yeah.
To come across that. That's really the first and only thing within my own community that I've seen like that.
Yeah, and in Alberta, I think a lot of people are pretty friendly, just because, you know, Alberta and Canada, we're very dispersed, right? Whether you're in, you know, Red Deer trying to play with people, or you're in Medicine Hat or Calgary and Edmonton, you know, everything's very far. So having a community around Alberta kind of solidifies everyone into this nice big community, and I haven't seen anyone too bad, you know, to the point where I've been like offended or anything.
There's like the friendly banter, and I mean you've seen it, but like
I've done my fair share
beyond that, right? Like,
yeah,
but
exactly.
It's like it's all in just good fun, right? And like in our pickup nights, it's like a wide range of skill levels, right? Like you get a lot of guys that you get some guys that are immortal, and then on the same team you get some guys that are silver, right?
Yeah, and when you have a good community, you can tell when you have those games, it's a good community when everyone's still having fun and everyone's still kind of razzing each other, and they're there to get better, or they're there to just hang out and chat and, you know, play the game.
It's a rough night when you guys play one game and then everyone's gone immediately after. like something rough happened in that game for sure. But it's like, otherwise, like if people are still playing, for the most part they're having fun still, right? And yeah. And
it's cool too. Like I've seen, you know, lower ranked players play on the same team with higher ranked guys, and it's a fun dynamic to be like, yo, let, you know, super good guy go this way and take care of it, and then I'm gonna go this way and do a distraction, and it's fun that way. And you don't get to pair up in just regular matchmaking.
The people that are lower ranks and they want to get better, they end up taking a lot away from the pickup nights because they learn a lot from the better players. But at the same time, if like the people that don't really care about improving too much, they just want to have fun, they're still able to do that, right? Because it's like, well, it's a pickup night, right? Like you guys aren't playing for rank or anything like that. There's no money involved. Like just have fun, right?
Yeah.
Like these are just casual pickup games.
Totally. So to switch the topic a little bit, I know that you've done your, more than your fair share of tournament organizing, and I just wanted to ask your perspective on what it's been like organizing in your community, whether it's been for Smash Bros or for AB FPS or whatever. Like how is it? Is it stressful? Is it fun?
I wouldn't say it's really all that stressful. It's not the same as kind of how TOing used to be for me, because, and like, I don't think I want to say that in like a negative light, because TOing now, everything's online, and if it's a lot less involved than it is at LAN, at like in-person events, anything like that, right? Like at in-person events, you meet everyone, right? You actually get to know the community by face, and like you feel a little bit more in control of what's going on, whereas in an online event, you don't know when someone's just going to the bathroom or if they ran out to Subway.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
or if they slept in and they're not even there.
Just give me 5 minutes, and the dude could be on his phone for all you know.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
whereas
he could be 20 minutes away from his house. Like,
yeah.
Oh, it's okay, I'll be right on.
Yeah. And the other guys are waiting. Like, all right,
don't DQ me. And the other team's like checked in like 20 minutes ago, and it's like, I'm just DQing you, man.
Has it been hard to make those kind of calls, and have you gotten some people who are upset when they don't show up on time?
I've definitely had people that have been mildly upset because I DQ'd them, and so that kind of gives the answer of it's not really hard for me because of my pre-existing history with Smash TOing and FGC TOing, where it's like, listen, I called for you for 10 minutes, I'm DQing you on like right on 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. And then some events I've given 5-minute timers, and it's like, you know what, tough. I'm sorry, man, but this is a really rough event that we got to pick up the time frame on, and I don't think you want to be here like till midnight, and neither does everyone else.
Yeah.
Right. Like
tournaments are known to go over time more often than they go under time.
We've been getting really, really good about it lately, especially with certain faces that haven't been as great for the community have kind of dwindled out, and a lot more people that have been really, really good at TOing have kind of stepped in lately. Like the new age Smash TOs are really good at what they do, because I took a break from the community for a while, and I came back and I was like, yeah, I'll just see what's going on. And I was like, man, these guys have it sorted out. You know, it's in good hands.
When people kind of self-organize and you give people a bit of power, then things usually turn for the right direction.
Yeah, Alberta's had like a unfortunate history with certain events, but I think especially now we're really on the high road now.
Yeah,
like,
that's
there's
good.
A lot of prep work, but it's well worth it for sure now.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people behind the scenes to thank for that. People thinking of certain problems and creating codes of conduct, managing lists of problematic people, and their work, might be unseen, but it's definitely felt for sure.
Yeah, no, I think God bless the freaking HR team. They put in so much work into writing our code of conduct and all that. Like, what was that, 6 months ago now?
Yeah, and it's
actually no, I think longer.
It's still developing, and that's good, right? Having those kind of conversations and having people dedicated to thinking about that is super important.
It's a load off my back and other community leaders' backs, because now we actually have a you could say a centralized community rule set, right? But not for your games, but how you should be behaving at
as a
events,
person. Yeah,
right?
it's just like a general.
Like most of it's just like common sense, right? And it's just like, just don't be a jerk, or don't be a creep. Like,
that's what the code of conduct, the Google Doc of the code of conduct, just in bold, don't be a jerk.
But it's like, I don't know, it's still things that have to be said, and when it's uniform, it makes it a lot easier for people that do want to start up a community for like a game or a genre that just doesn't have their community yet, right? Like, I know we don't quite have a centralized league community yet, but when that comes around, it's them starting up is going to be a whole lot easier than if they were to have started up earlier, right? Like, if I guess flowcharts it a lot better for them.
Yeah, AESA's goal is to kind of lay that groundwork so that there can be good, healthy communities that come up, and there's some resources for them to build that structure and build that unity and things like that. So yeah. So you've done a lot of TOing even before COVID, right?
Yeah. And
that's where I first recognized you, because you look like someone who knew what they were talking about, and I was like, okay, I like this guy. Just because we're all missing those in-person events. I know that there's some that are popping up. AESA hasn't committed to do any in-person events, but give us a little taste of what's it like TOing, let's say, a Smash a Smash tournament.
It's chaotic. It's stressful, quite frankly. But it's awesome. It's like, I personally love it. It's not for everyone, and I wouldn't recommend it to everyone. But it's something that you do when you feel, or like you want to have ownership on something, even if it's like a weekly, right? It's like, hey, yeah, you committed to that and you ran it. But like running events, it's a lot of prep work. Like, you have to designate areas for setups so that you can actually create good crowd control in your venue, and then you know where all of your pools are. If someone is missing, you know exactly what part of the venue to go to. And if they're not there, then you know what, I'm likely DQing this person in like 2 minutes, right? Like, and at a certain point, it actually does run itself. Like, you hit either, like, depending on your event size, top 16 or top 8, and it just runs itself, because those people are really regular. They just come up to you, they'd be like, yeah, here's the score, and then they walk away, and it's like, all right, cool, sick. And the start of it is definitely the hardest part, where you're dealing with a friggin' like 130 entrants, and you have to deal with all of them. You have to report all of their scores. You don't know a quarter of these people because you can't know everyone, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
As much as I would love to know everyone, I don't know everyone. But you get people running up to you and they're like, oh yeah, 2-0, and it's like, okay, hold on, who are you?
Yeah, because I know you know who you are, but I don't know who you are. So
you probably know me, but I'm sorry, I don't know you.
Yeah, I mean, when there's hundreds of entrants, right?
Yeah, it's impossible.
So we're gonna kind of wrap up a little bit here, but I want you to let the people know some things about yourself that I find are very interesting TinofSalsa bits. You got probably the coolest pets I know of. Let the people know. Are they there? Wow. Accessible? Oh my god.
God, he's asleep.
What are these things? What is that thing? It's like a...
So I have 2 ferrets.
Oh my god, he's so cute.
This one is quite literally dead sleep. I wasn't expecting that.
He's passed out. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. I'm gonna die, man.
I'm gonna put him back.
Yeah, yeah.
I have
That's
two of them. That one's Len, and then he's got a brother. He's white fur coat. His name's Rin. They're twin brothers actually, born June 7th. I love them to bits,
Aw.
but they're a lot of work.
I'm so pumped. We got the ferrets on the show. Hey, we got the ferrets on the show. We can wrap it up. Another thing I want to know before we get going, TinofSalsa, where did that name come from? Because that is like a wild username.
So it was a bit of a road to come to this tag over time. I first joined the Smash community about, I want to say, I think 7 years ago now. 7 years ago, and I needed a gamer tag to enter because like I was in that limbo of phasing away from the username that you created when you're 12.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, well, I want something not so embarrassing. So I shifted through a couple, and then me and my two other buddies, we were like, let's come up with Mexican themed names. So one of us was Pancho, Nacho, Macho, and then I was Salsa.
I love it. I like how you're the one that's not rhyming.
And I was like, you know what, Salsa's kind of a sick name. All right, word. And then I was like, you know what sucks though? It's gonna be taken online. Like,
yeah, totally.
It's such an easy thing to take. So I was like, all right, I gotta come up with something. Well, what does salsa come? Well, everyone knows salsa just comes in like glass jars, usually, right? Like pre-made salsa.
Yeah.
What does it not come in? And the first thing I thought of was like soup tins.
That is
because I'm like that'd be ridiculous, right? And then I found out, oh wait, they actually sell salsa in tins in South America.
But no one's named themselves after the tin of salsa. So.
No, exactly, right?
Because
so,
who would do that?
Right.
That is
a
crazy process.
I've never had an issue. No one's ever taken that name. I'm the one and only.
And I like it because all your profile pictures that I see online are like anime girls. It just doesn't even line up at all with the name.
No, it doesn't. It's either like right now I think my Twitter profile picture is Guts from Berserk. And then, like, my Steam profile picture is Ryogi from Karna Kyokai. And then my Discord profile picture is an octopus. Like,
you know what? I'm sure all of them would enjoy a tin of salsa with maybe, some nachos.
You know, it's true.
Yeah. Okay, and
Absolutely.
last thing I wanna blast out there into the world. I was very, very excited when I found out you have a sick car.
Yeah.
TinofSalsa has a sick car, and I want you to blast the business a little bit. Let's see if we can drum up some business for you.
So, I drive because you're bringing up the car. I drive a 1998 WRX STI GC8, imported from Japan.
So
I'm a third
cool.
Canadian owner. Hasn't seen a dyno, but my buddy who's a mechanic thinks that it's got 325 horsepower to the wheel, and like the thing kicks. It's so much fun.
Hasn't seen a dyno, but it rips.
It's had a fair amount of work to it, and I've got still more work to do to it, but it's a lot of fun. And as you're referring to for plugging, I do paint correction and detailing mobily professionally.
Hell yeah! So give this man some business.
Yeah, hit me up on Twitter.
Hit him up.
If you're in Edmonton area, hit me up at TinofSalsa. I'm really easy to find. That's also where you can find the AB FPS community. It's in my pinned tweet and my bio.
Yeah, so definitely check out that community. Follow this man on Twitter. Give him some interaction. And enjoy some Mexican food tonight in honor of our guest, Aaron. And thank you so much, man, for coming on. I really, really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. This was good.
I think you are just an awesome, awesome person. So I'm always glad to talk to you. And to all you out there,
heart melt.
like nacho cheese. No, I gotta stop at the.
No, okay. You can drop it now.
That's a different guy, the nacho cheese. Anyways, all you out there, thanks for watching another episode of AESA Insight. I've been Thai Sirikoone. Please enjoy the rest of Capsule Series, And we will see you next time.